Wednesday, I got it.
Well,
Thursday,
let me,
maybe,
let me see if I might be able to
but,
get one more viewer here.
over to the comments and there's no mouse. I've had this happen before. It's sometimes like alien grabs where like, I don't know. We've got a viewer. So we're in business. We're in business. Thank you, viewer.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
However, I can't matriculate over to, I don't see my mouse. Oh, it's over here.
So we're going to talk about Steely Dan. We got other side topics. You got an outline or are we strictly doing the Steely Dan part?
Oh, I got an outline, brother.
All right.
Basically, so this is episode it's episode 36 part 2 because I lost Wi-Fi in the first episode there on Tuesday with Will. So we're just carrying the thing on. And so that's the scoop. That's the deal. But I have the same outline. So you'll just have to flow with it. Here's the lead sheet, which we kind of were getting through, and then I think I was on the shoot the shit stuff, and then I think it timed out and we lost power there. We lost, So yeah, sign in stranger. Oh my gosh, man, we've been listening like a mofo. The both of us, but Mitch is here. We have Mitch Hines.
Oh, hi, Mitch.
And his wonderful wife, Kim, from Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
Almost international.
Yeah, I was a guest one night when Mitch was the co-host.
Yes. Yeah. Super cool. I'm drinking out of a coffee cup, but it is a tad of coffee with a splash of wine. So
it's not a black cow.
It's not a black cow, but
so do you know what ingredients go into the mixed drink black cow?
Only from the Steely Dan documentary on the making of Asia. They talk about it briefly. And
what did they say in there? Because I googled it and looked it up. What did they say?
Walter Becker said it was a frothy drink of root beer and soda and something else.
So
my recollection.
So there are at least 3 different black cow drinks. Only one of them has liquor in it.
Mm-hmm.
The one with, and I suppose you could do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? Right. So the black cow, at least from what I was able to find from Googling and whatever, AI, whatever, the black cow mixed drink has coffee liqueur.
There you
go. Milk and Coca-Cola.
There you go.
I also found that it was like root beer and ice cream and coffee, which is kind of like a modified root beer float.
Yeah. That's how Becker described it.
And, of course, we're talking about this song, Black Cow. That's the first song on the Asia album.
On Asia, yeah.
So I got a
perfect.
Let me see if I can go to my notes.
Okay, do it.
Because my notepad on my phone, if I can pull it up, I outlined all the albums there. You can still hear me, right?
I can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. And just speak before you start. My son Zach and his wife went to New York City like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, and Zach. I turned my son on to Steely Dan back when he was like 7, 8, 9, and 10. And his first concert ever was Steely Dan, the reunion tour in '93. And that was Zach's first concert. And we went to see them. and so he's always been up on them always. And so the song Black, drink your big black cow and get out of here. I'm on the wrong pitch there, but the first lyric is, I saw, from the corner of my eye, I saw you at Rudy's. You were very high. So Zach went
Right.
Zach,
And then my favorite line was, "You were high."
yeah,
like
yeah.
busted.
The female backup singers. My gosh, they're so good. He's always had them. They've always had them. But so Zach went and found Rudy's restaurant. It's a cafe restaurant in New York City, and he took a picture of it and them out in front of it, and it was closed at the time. But so that's how serious we are about Steely Dan.
Awesome. Just let me. I'd like to run through this list of albums really quick, just so I can get my face back on the screen, because I haven't figured out how to look things up and have my face on the screen at the same time. All right, so now these are 9 studio albums listed in order. The
There you
first
go.
one came out in 1972, and
Yeah.
the last one was released in 2003. Now, I guess they have live albums, but these are just the studio albums.
Gotcha.
So
Can't Buy a Thrill.
Can't Buy a Thrill came out in 1972. It had Reelin' in the Years in it, and a few other big hits.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing that when I still lived in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. and Annandale, Virginia. And
Wow.
I was still in elementary school. And
Wow.
these were like really cool songs on the radio. All right. So then
Very cool.
Countdown to Ecstasy, 1973.
Second album, right?
Yeah, which has Bodhisattva on
Yeah.
it. Bodhisattva, won't you take me by the hand? All right, then we got, I'm pretty sure that's Countdown to Ecstasy. The third one was Pretzel Logic, 1974.
Epic.
And
epic.
I went through those 3 albums, and I looked up the credits on every song on each of the 3 albums, so I can talk a little bit about who played guitar solos on which song. But that's as far as I got. So then there's Katie Lied in 1975.
And that's when Jeff Porcaro, the famous drummer, got introduced during Katie Lied, amongst many other drummers and other players. But
I think he actually was on at least one of the songs on Pretzel Logic.
Yeah.
Which was the album before. But he might have had an increased presence on Katie Lied.
Right.
All right, then there's The Royal Scam, 1976.
My favorite album that they do. Go ahead.
And by title of the album, I'm not familiar with any of these. I was familiar with Can't Buy a Thrill. I'd heard of Pretzel Logic. I wasn't familiar with the titles of any of the other albums, even though I've heard a lot of the songs. So the next one is 1977, is Aja, or Aya. They pronounce it Aja. It's spelled A-J-A. It's a female. It's a woman's name. It's not the continent. So then there's Gaucho, 1980.
That was their last studio album before they stopped for a long time.
True, because the next one didn't come out for 20 years until 2000. They put out an album called Two Against Nature, which I'd have to look it up, but I don't know. Maybe that just meant there were just the 2 of them on the album, whereas before they were known for bringing in lots of studio guys. Plus, they really started out as a full band. And all right, so then Everything Must Go, 2003. That was the last studio album that they produced. All right, so with that, I'm going to get back to the screen and I'll stop talking for a minute.
Okay, and then I take it over here.
Yeah.
That was perfect, Pete. That was perfect. Here we go. That was phenomenal. We don't do that often where we cover, I should have done that with Rush and, some of the bands, Zeppelin, I did it. I said, and it was so funny because it was Will, and I said, "Okay, here it goes: Zeppelin 1, Zeppelin 2, Zeppelin 3, and Zeppelin 4." He just like lost it. He's like, "All right, I don't know what that." No, that was their first 4 album, but
What came after 4? Was that Houses of the Holy next?
Houses of the Holy was the 5th album. Yes, yes,
And
yes,
then
yes.
and then was
Physical Graffiti.
Physical Graffiti,
Yeah. And then
uh,
Presence.
Presence.
And then
Was it In Through the Outdoor, or was that later?
it was Into the Outdoor was their last album. Now, in between the middle of that was The Song Remains the Same, the live
The
recording.
live movie. It was a movie. The soundtrack to the movie. Yeah.
Soundtrack of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're delving into, we got 2 listeners. This is fucking killer on a Friday night. I'm so relaxed. I'm like, oh my gosh. And that's why I bumped it to 7 instead of 7:30. I'm like, man, I'm gonna, because I don't have to drive home from the Space Center. Man, I'm like, I got so much fucking time on my hands. Like, holy crap. So yeah, so 7 made way more sense. But yeah, not to lose the dot. We covered the Zeppelin album, their discography. But going back to Steely Dan, God, where do we jump in now? I want to do some housekeeping first. Pete.
Yeah.
Pete dropped. Okay, you're cool.
I'm here somewhere. I'm trying to get back on the screen.
As long as we can hear you, and because you're going to be playing here a little bit later, but that's like perfect. So shoot the shit section, and I got a new shoot the shit section. Here it is. All right, here it is. Pete, I left you a voicemail last night. I got a text from. So I played for my church for 11 years. Long back. I stopped in 2019.
Right.
And so Mike Mays, the band director, who was the last band director, reached out to me Tuesday and said, "Hey, both our drummers are out of town. They're high school guys, like seniors in high school. Both of them are out of town. Is there any way you can do Sunday?" And it didn't take me long to realize I could. And I later that day, I wrote him back and said, "Mike, I can do it. Believe it or not." He said, "Oh my God, this is great. Rehearsal is Thursday night." So rehearsal was last night. And oh my goodness gracious. I did that gig for 11 years. Like I said, it's really like 12 years, but, just driving back to the church for the rehearsal night, pulling in the back parking lot like I did hundreds of times, over 11 years.
Right.
Just pulling into the place and getting out and going in and being on the same stage with the drums in the same spot.
Yep.
And they've upgraded their electronics, their equipment. It's in-ear you basically
monitors, in-ear monitors.
But I can plug my headphones in because I'm a headphone nut from old school days. You can plug the headphones in to the in-ear wireless unit, and then there's an app for the sound. So Mike pulled that up. I had already loaded it, but Mike like said, "Okay, here it is, boom." And he's like on my phone. He's like, "Okay." And he's sliding over. There's like, there was a ton of choices, but he said,
you can mix your own mix and hear whatever mix you want to hear
from your phone
with that. I've used them before.
From your phone.
I used them at Lighthouse Christian Church when I played there a few times with the praise band, and they had them, and I used them, and but it's like okay, but I can't really hear what the actual mix is, which kind of bugs me.
It's a struggle to, if you were doing
But
it regularly, you could dial it in like perfectly.
right,
But this is rehearsal for the first time. So anyway, long story short, we got.
I mean
going.
the sound people are supposed to make it sound great out front no matter what, but you know.
Right. So note to people. And people might know this, but they might not.
Right.
What you're hearing on stage is no resemblance to what is out front that is on the PA system. Now that
Yeah, often it's not if you have stage monitors.
so,
And
but
even if you don't, this usually sounds different on stage than it does in the audience.
all right, let me make a point.
Yep.
As you rise in the hierarchy of great bands and great stage stuff, it converges to, hey, in other words, Amy Lee from Evanescence, she's like, whatever the fuck I'm hearing, I want those motherfuckers hearing out front.
Right.
Or, with some, or any player would go, whether it's Al Di Meola or whether it's, Stanley.
Well, it's a lot of it's personal preference because I saw an interview regarding Alex Lifeson, and after Neil Peart went through his whole thing where he did that study with the guy from musicians or whatever, that guy from New York City who was everybody's guru in drums, and he like recreated the whole way he drummed. After that, Alex Lifeson took Neil Peart completely out of the mix. So it was all you heard was him and Geddy.
Right, because he could probably feel it. He could feel.
Well, he did. I liked the change. It was more of a groove style. I mean, he was still playing the same licks, but he had more of a groove style. And I guess that Alex just didn't like that. And so, but then that forced Neil to have to go back to drumming the way he was drumming.
Gotcha, because he had totally switched up his program. But anyway,
that being said, I think I've recently, just in the last 6 months, come to believe that Alex Lifeson is one of the top electric guitar players of all times. He's the only one I would put in a similar category with Jeff Beck.
Yeah. It completely. Alex Lifeson, the guitarist for Rush, without a doubt, his interpretation and his musicality and the freedom he had with that band, it was so creative. It was just so effing creative. It's like it just
both his leads and his rhythms.
Guitarists would tell you that. Yeah.
His leads and his rhythms are very creative. They're very interesting. Yeah. They're very musical, and they require a high degree of skill. I mean, the guy's amazing, and I mean that.
Yes.
I'm trying. I'm thinking. Yeah. The one solo in particular, or maybe it was Limelight or something. It was something off the Moving Picture album.
Limelight.
Yeah, that's the one. It's like, oh my God, what he's doing, the sounds he's getting out of that guitar, and what they said is he improvises those live, and it's usually the first or second take is the one they use.
Right.
You didn't like pre-write that and practice it.
Do you
try copying it?
Do you have your guitar plugged in?
Say it again.
Do you have your guitar plugged in?
Well, I have my amp warmed up. I'm not sitting there, but I can walk over there. I had to get over here to get my phone charged up some, but I should be good. So I'm going to unplug from the charger. Besides, I felt I had a better talk background. My studio is a complete mess. I still haven't reorganized it since the June 6th concert. Plus, that one bookcase looks like a mess that's usually in the background. But anyway, so where's my Where's
Pete,
my
Pete,
music stand that I usually hold? Thing there it is. Okay, I'm gonna
Pete,
turn around. I got I'm near my amp. Go ahead.
you're talking too much.
Yeah, I'm listening now.
Okay. Um, so I suggest you plug the guitar in and then you try to you on it's impromptu and if you couldn't do something from Spirit of the Radio or whatever song we were just talking about, Limelight, any other thing that comes to mind because you did the La
I
Via
can I
Strangica.
can play parts of some Rush songs. I haven't really. I'm not currently on them. You know, the last time when I was in
You did that.
junior high and high school,
No, we don't need to
my
know you.
band played half a dozen Rush songs.
Right.
Okay, and and then you and I jammed like I don't know 6 or 8 years ago,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I tried to rework up La Via Strangiato, and I frankly didn't even play it as well as I did when I was in high school. You know what I mean? Because I just didn't have enough time to actually practice it and get it
Right.
all worked up.
And we had
And
Tim, the pro bass player. Oh my God.
yeah,
That
and Tim, yeah, who plays with what? Tim is in a band called Why Not, which
was
is not only a Rush tribute, but they
right.
do original songs in the style of Rush. They
Yeah.
have a lot of really original. They're super good. And he brought a drummer that day, but he was okay. But they finally got a really good drummer. And
They're awesome.
anyway, but yeah, you know, they're. I mean, you know, Mike Portnoy sits in with them in concerts. They'll do a concert in the Northeast, and Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater will come and play a
Yeah.
couple of songs with them. That's how good they are.
I've seen it. Yes, I've seen that. But so people don't know what we're doing. It is an episode on. You think it's on Rush, but it's really on Steely Dan Part Two. But we got on a Rush kick, and actually, my shoot the shit section was all about Rush. So we're revisiting it because they're on tour right now with Annika Niles as a drummer and just go on any social media platform and just look for reels of Rush and Rush live, and you'll see Annika just go absolutely blitzkrieg on all the Rush stuff, and the crowds just love it. They just love it.
She is doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
She's bringing a whole new energy to the band.
A whole new energy to the band.
While at the same time honoring the legacy of Neil by, you know, because she studied the parts, obviously. She you know.
I might be able to play. I won't get busted for playing like one of those live reels. I can do that. While you're getting warmed up there, Pete's gonna play us some. There's a Dave Pastorius there. Hang on. Rush reels.
Dave Pastorius
is on tour with Pat Travers right now.
Yep. And he's from O'Galley, Melbourne area.
I feel like Neil is with you. Have you seen it?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Rush reels. Here we go. Oh, that's her selfie. It's really classic. She does this selfie thing. So these pop up every morning. I see these Rush reels every fucking morning, and I also see Evanescence reels pop up every morning from the shows they're doing the day before and the 2 days before. It's really cool. I don't need reactions. They're just reels. Okay. Pete's getting warmed up.
Yeah, I'm tuning the guitar, which
take your time. This is obviously dragging out. A little dead air time. Oh, here we go. Here, check it out. Of course, the sound will suck, but over my mic. There she is.
It sounds like Camera Eye. Is that Camera Eye?
Yes. Yes. It's Cameron.
That's the last song we worked on as my band in high school.
She's a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Cameron. There's Alex. Here she goes. The sound, it's people recording from the audience, so.
Right.
And the nation. I don't know what that was.
Dun, 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 dun. That's
I was expecting like 2112
I think
there.
that's off of Farewell. That's off of Farewell to Kings album, I think.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure, but it might be off of
Okay, here we go.
2112.
Check it out.
Might be off of 2112.
This is epic. I've seen this 20 times.
The day, which was the final day that we rehearsed, bang, she just nailed all those songs.
When you're on stage, it's about pure emotion.
The day, which was the final day that we rehearsed, bang, she just nailed all those songs.
When you're on stage, it's about pure emotion.
I'm wrong key. I'm in the wrong key.
The fifth day. So Alex says the fifth day she had nailed all the stuff. The fifth day of rehearsing. She is. If I could, so I'm a drummer, and I can interpret this because I've been doing it for a while, and seen some of the best, Dave Weckl and people, Dennis Chambers and Weckl and Terry Bozzio, live. But she is from, she's like probably in her early 30s. And Pete, she has a whole thing about polyrhythms. She's got polyrhythms down. Now she doesn't use them with Rush because she doesn't have to or need to, and she wouldn't interject that kind of thing in the Rush setting. But a drummer that can just conjure up polyrhythms as a natural way of playing, there's not many that can do that. It was Vinnie Colaiuta and Bozzio, and when he was doing his ostinato shit. But anyway, we spiked up to like 6 people for a while there. So very cool. We got people. Kim's on. Kim, thank you for joining from Sanford on a Friday night. I can't imagine what else you could be doing. I would be at one of those clubs, but probably like at 8 o'clock or 8:30. I'm gonna part of the shoot the shit section was after this I'm gonna go to Cocoa Beach and find some live music. I'm gonna go to the Hunker Down Beach Shack area and gonna go see some live music tonight. Peter, you could join me.
That's a possibility. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw it. I didn't recognize any names of bands, but they're always good. Hunker Down's always got good bands.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, always. But it was not Element 7. It's not, some of the ones we know. But yeah.
So if you want, I can try to, I heard Camera Eye come on. I'm sitting here trying to remember it from like junior high school, but
wow.
Dang nabbit.
It is an obscure song of Moving Pictures. Camera Eyes off of Moving Pictures. And
Can you hear that? Yeah.
that was one of my favorite Rush albums. This is about Steely Dan, but he's going to do a Rush thing. You can hear.
Now I don't have my effects on. He's got a chorus and delay, and I'm just playing. He's got chorus and delay. And I'm just playing here through my Fender amp with a reverb on. But
He's got G66.
can you hear it?
Nice. Turn it up. You know, I always say turn it up. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But somewhere it goes like something like this.
Dude, that was killer. As always, it needs to be, the guitar needs to be louder. And, you know, your laptop mic is nowhere near the speaker. So
I'm out of tune or something. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Like when I'm playing, I can't hear you talking.
Gotcha. Like before, the laptop microphone is nowhere near your speaker. So you're just getting, it's just not loud enough. Yeah.
It's not as loud as you would like it, but they can still hear it. And, you know, I'm anyway, I can turn the amp up a little bit, but
barely. But anyway, this is great. A Friday night, a one-off on a Friday, and we got 4 viewers, and then there's others in the background. Shout out to turn it up and let's hear that camera eye.
well, I'm having trouble with it getting the right keys, but anyway.
Right.
Let me turn this up a little bit.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Very cool.
So that there's that, and the other parts that I played earlier. You know, this part and this part.
That's what makes sound like some great.
Those are the basic parts of the song. It's yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool song. I liked it.
Yeah. Hey, so we totally segued to Rush, and that's okay. But we should go back to
Can't Buy a Thrill.
well, excuse me. I swallowed wrong. Sorry. Hey, to the last shoot the shit stuff. I'm jamming with the church band, and I'm going to play Sunday at Sun Tree United Methodist on Wickham Avenue in Melbourne Sunday. That was a one-off. I got a phone call from Mike, and I rehearsed last night. It was super uber fun. Great. 4 songs I'd never heard in my life until yesterday. And anyway, that was uber fun, and I'm going to be playing Sunday at church. It's going to be super cool. I played for my church there for 10 years, and then for about the last 6 years, I have not. And then on occasion, I'll get a call where the drummers are like not, they're on vacation. Mostly they're guys in high school. The other thing, Pete, with the shoot the shit section, there's a platform called Drumeo, and I listen to it on YouTube, but Drumeo, it turns out it's this guy in a crew from Canada. I found out today they're from Canada, but they interview, they bring in some of the best drummers playing heavy rock right now. This was Shannon Leto from 60 Seconds to Mars, with his brother JJ Leto, who's Jared Leto, who's the actor, and they've had a band called 60 Seconds to Mars forever. And it's Shannon doing, but every drummer they bring in, and my favorite's Will Hunt from Evanescence. and so you can watch the whole thing of theirs, and then sometimes they'll do like a single song. They're a big hit usually, but plug in Drumeo, just like it might like it sounds. It's epic. It's epic. It is so good. The drummers, they go into, the guy asks some questions. The guy doing it is some major drummer from Canada, and in production stuff. And it's just, as a drummer, it's my favorite thing on any platform at all. So I'll just leave it at that. But yeah. Rick is here. Rick. Okay, we got Rick. Rick, remind me which Rick this is. And Gina's
Rick,
wow.
That's Rick, my student.
Oh, cool.
I think.
Cool. All right. So we got 2 shout outs. We have Rick, Pete's student.
Yeah, adult guitar student and long-term fan of the band, the local band Panama. By the way, he came out to see me play with Panama on July 25th, I believe it was. Yeah.
And a very special shout out to Gina and Mike. Gina and Mike Mara. Gina is the mother of my son Zach. They live in Long Island. They live in Deer Park, Long Island, and they're on, and that's super special.
Cool.
Really, yeah.
I met her one time, like 30 years ago.
Yeah, it would have been early days. Gina, probably
at
around
your Port St. John house. It was very brief. I'm sure she doesn't remember.
Right. Probably around the time you were heading to New York. I met Pete, who's on right now, and who's this incredible guitarist and my music confidant. When we jam, Pete's the guy I call on to put a band together to jam at the house. But super cool. And Mike is super cool. And the cars and they're great. They're great. And I last saw them both at Zach's wedding in Washington, D.C. In Annapolis, Maryland, actually. The last time I saw them. And they're big concert goers right now. So I could interview the 2 of them sometime and just say, what are the shows you've seen lately? Because they go to shows almost like I do. And they see big stuff, big Aussie kind of stuff, and Rob Zombie. They've done the whole rock, a lot of those bands, a lot of these bands, 311, they're all from freaking Long Island, freaking New York, and so they get those out the wazoo. But guys, thanks for plugging in. This is super cool. This is part 2 of the Steely Dan episode that I lost Tuesday night when I was attempting to do the first one with Will. Lost the internet, just totally dropped out. And anyway, that's been fixed since, but super cool. Wow.
So
All right.
Phil, that first album, Can't Buy a Thrill.
Yeah. Back to Steely Dan.
That had the original band members, which included Jeff Skunk Baxter.
Yeah.
And this is before he played with the Doobie Brothers, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
And he was on at least their first 4 albums, Skunk Baxter was. And along with Diaz, the other guitar player.
Denny Diaz.
Denny Diaz. So Denny Diaz and Skunk Baxter. Now, Walter Becker played bass primarily. He did not play guitar on those first 3 albums.
He did not.
He did a guitar solo on the 4th album. And in my notes, I have the what song that was. But what I didn't realize about Jeff is or about Steely Dan, he plays a lot of lap pedal steel guitar on these Steely Dan songs. A lot of songs have lap pedal, and it's Jeff Skunk Baxter playing it. Skunk's his nickname, playing it. So, any rate, I learned more or less the solo to China Grove, which was played by him, I believe.
Wow.
With the Doobie Brothers. And I was asked one time years ago to learn the solo to Ricky Don't Lose That Number, which Jeff played. But there's really only 2 Steely Dan guitar solos that I've learned, and they're 2 songs I learned leads to, and they're really major pieces of work. And both of them had a guest studio musician. So the first one has like 3 guitar solos in it, and Jeff Skunk Baxter plays on it. He just doesn't play the lead guitar. But anyway, that's Reelin' in the Years. It starts out with a guitar solo, and it has one in the middle and one at the end, an outro solo and a solo in between one of the verses and stuff. So there's 3 super cool solos. That was done by Elliot Randall.
Elliot Randall. Okay, that you were getting to the.
Yeah, so, Elliot Randall's, and as far as I know, now I didn't get through the whole discography because I started going every single song, looking up the credits, and I only got in partway through the 4th album, and they got 9 albums. But as far as I know, that's the only song that Elliot Randall played on.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, I've told you a story before, and I don't know if you want to make some comments first before I go into another story.
Let me make a comment.
Yeah.
So back in Kissimmee, when Bud first got his car, his Malibu, he had a '69 Malibu, and I'm 7 years younger than him, and we would get in the car, and back then, or in the parents' car, we'd always have the FM radio on, and in those days, 74 and 75, Reelin' in the Years took over the airwaves with off the first album, Can't Buy a Thrill. So picture a band like Boston. Boston did that, right? Their first record, boom, had a ton of hits. They were all great songs, and they just just takes over the FM radio. And Steely Dan did that with Reelin' in the Years and then others later. But I remember my first recollections of Steely Dan were in the cars back in Kissimmee, let's say 74, 75. And that was Elliot Randall who had done the famous solo. Can you bop off any Reelin' in the Year thing?
Yeah, so I was in this band, which you subbed for the drummer one time with this band Tuxedo, and we did Reelin' in the Years. We didn't rehearse it because that band never rehearsed, but I was told learn Reelin' in the Years, so I learned it. I learned the whole song as best I could,
They were pros.
Anyway, let me just rip off a little bit of that and see if we get.
Turn it up.
How's that sound right there?
It sounds great, but turn it up.
Turn it up. Okay.
There you go.
All right. It's loud as crap here.
I'm sure.
I'm going to turn it up again.
Sorry.
Okay, and then the keyboard takes over, and the keyboard does something like this,
Keyboard over and vocals. Don't take it. It's awesome.
Or whatever. And that's when they're singing. And the weekend at the college didn't turn out like you'd planned. The things that pass for knowledge I can't understand. Are you reeling in the year? Well, and then they're well, my voice is not warmed up, or I could maybe have
Yeah.
us
Nor is
cracking all the way. But that
Sounded
they have
great.
so
Sounded
many harmony parts.
Yeah.
Anyway, could you guys hear that?
Sounded great. Sounded great.
Thanks. Yeah. So
Really? Really good.
yeah, then they have there's all kinds of other leads in there. I don't remember. I pretty much had there were a couple parts that I had trouble getting 100%, and I did my own little take on those little licks. But at one point, I knew all those, virtually every lick in the whole song, and they're all super tasty.
Yeah.
Really.
All tasty. All tasty.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Hey,
So
but
the fun thing about that is that at one point we got a drummer, Richie Mola, into the band,
Richie
and
Mola.
Richie had been playing with Kenny Cohen and Piece by Piece when Kenny Cohen had this unfreaking believable four-piece band that, I mean, like the keyboard player would play bass with his left hand, then he'd whip out a trumpet, and Kenny would play bass guitar, and then, then they go to another part of the song, and Kenny would play his tenor saxophone, and Poochie Lowry's one of the best guitarists I've ever seen anywhere, was unbelievable, and, they did all kinds of really great things. But anyway, so Richie played with them, and then I found myself at what's now Eastern Florida State College, was Brevard Community College at the time, and I was on a music scholarship there. And Richie had decided, even though he graduated from Drummers Collective in New York City, a very famous Drummers Collective, which my cousin Jason Rulo also graduated from. And this teacher too was taught there, who's the teacher who taught Neil Peart we were talking about earlier. Anyway, this is like one of the best drum tech, probably the best and most recognized pro drum tech schools in the country, in the world, really.
I didn't even know this. Wow.
Anyway, so Richie had graduated from there, and then he moved down here, and he's playing with Kenny Cohen. Anyway, so Mike, the drummer who played for like 14 years with or almost that long with Tuxedo, maybe longer, Mike DiPaolo, he got a job on the cruise lines out of Disney Cruise Lines out of Japan. And Jay and Denise asked me about a drummer, and so I asked Richie, and I was delighted that he was able to play. So anyways, so we're playing this reeling in the years at wedding receptions,
and you got to play it.
And Richie, right before we played, I did at least 4 gigs with where we did reeling in the years with Richie on the drums.
Wow!
And right before the last one, Richie's like, guess what? I got a call to play with Elliot Randall. He's got a band. He's playing at House of Blues. They want me to be the drummer for those shows at House of Blues in Orlando.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, wow. Yeah.
You had mentioned this, and I forgot about it. So what Pete just said was the guy that did the lead for Reelin' in the Years from the Steely Dan record was in a band that was touring and called Richie Mola over to play drums. Wow, that's heavy duty. That's like Part getting the call.
And I don't know, maybe one of the reasons he was called. I mean, of course, that band was booked by a very well-connected booking agent. I mean, this guy knew people in Vegas, and we played the Biltmore Hotel in Miami one time. Big, ritzy private party and all that. Anyway,
you don't have to plug yourself too much. We know you're great.
Well, I'm just saying that I think one of the reasons Richie got called for that gig is we just happened to be doing Reelin' in the Years, and probably they called our booking agent first and said, do you know anybody? And he probably said, well, listen to this. And maybe they had a recording of one of our gigs or something. Anyway, I don't know.
Okay. Hey, we're going back to the sheets here. So here's what I got. So Steely Dan started, and Gina and Mike are going to get a particular kick out of this. Steely Dan started. They were, I think one of them was from Jersey and one of them was from New York City. But bottom line is, they in college they met, and they said, "Hey, we're into music and we want to pursue this music thing." And they were still finishing their degrees. I think their degrees were really in English literature, which makes sense when you hear some of the fucking lyrics of their songs. But anyway, long story short, they're in New
And
York.
Chevy Chase was their drummer in college.
Okay, but anyway, so
Steely Dan, you're talking about, right?
yes, yeah. So this, Pete, please, this is the beginning of Steely Dan. So
Okay, sorry.
they whatever the magazine is, and there's a musician's local magazine, that leaflet magazine type thing in big cities. They answered an ad for a band that was in Long Island, and it was Denny Diaz, and so they needed a bass player and a keyboard player. Turns out Walter Becker is a bass player, and Donald's a keyboardist. They answered the ad, and they went out to Long Island, and they met these guys, and they started jamming, and then so. I want to preface this whole thing by saying, and I said it on the first episode that crashed and burned. They basically they went out, answered the ad, and started sitting in with this band. And I know I was going to say it was the Behind the Music. So you got to see Behind the Music, the making of the album Asia. Behind the Music, the making of Asia. They tell their whole story. So I'm just repeating stories that are on that video. It's on YouTube. It was recently, I relatively recently. I haven't looked it up in a while. I actually joked with somebody and said, I could just roll that and not even do the show, and just that's their history. Because they tell it, and they're on video. They're being filmed talking about this stuff, and they're in the studio while they're playing around with the mixing board in a studio. They're playing around with the mixing board for the songs on Asia, and they're making just like incredible comments about Michael McDonald doing 6-part harmony, 6-part vocal harmonies. And then they interview Michael McDonald, and he goes, "Yeah, I've never been asked to do a 6-part harmony with myself." He said these guys were from outer space. They were out there. Very it's very sophisticated, everything. But anyway, I'm deviating a little bit. But bottom line is, you got to see the Behind the Music, the making of Asia. That's uber importante. So I'm repeating.
Right, and so then when he was interviewed by Rick Beato, Michael McDonald, that is, Rick asked him. He said, "Did you sing along to yourself, and did you have all those parts in your head?" And he says, "No way." He says they had written this out. They played it on the piano or something, and I sang them one at a time. I recorded one at a time.
Yes.
And made sure I sung in tune without even like listening to the playbacks of the previous recordings, because there's so many harmony parts and they're so tight. It's so difficult to not jump from one harmony part to the other. Anyway, I thought that was interesting.
Fascinating. Perfect compliment to what I was saying there with Michael McDonald part. But bottom line is, they go out to Long Island, and in the movie, in the documentary, they said basically we hijacked Danny Diaz's band, and then they were really getting their stuff together as far as like writing and composing songs. and they're like, we're going to Los Angeles. So they go out to Los Angeles, and the only one that came with them from that crew in Long Island was Denny Diaz. So Denny goes out to
and they being Walter Fagan and or am I getting this mixed up? Fagan and Becker.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Walter Becker and Donald Fagan. Donald Fagan, the pianist.
I did
Walter
it.
Becker, the guitar, bassist. Like I said, first 3 albums, all he played was bass. Bass and maybe a little extra keys or percussion or something.
Yeah. Let me.
But he's a fantastic guitar player himself. I've seen him in live performances, and he does.
He developed over the years. Give me 1 second. We're missing one visual here.
So while you're looking for something, can I go through some of the songs and who played the guitar solo on which one, or is that another?
Not yet, because
Okay,
I want
all
to
right.
finish the
Gotcha.
story. But so Steely Dan are these two guys. On the right is Walter Becker, and on the left is Donald Fagen. That's Steely Dan. But they hired an insane amount of players to do all their records, and the best players they could ever get. And they ended up spending exorbitant amounts of money in the studios doing records, which came to a head with eventually with the Asia record, and especially with Gaucho, their last one. But so
and they would often have 2 or 3 drummers,
yes.
4 or 5 or 6 guitar players.
Yeah.
And they would record all of them, and they saved all these recordings, but they picked the ones they liked the best and released them. So there's studio musicians who played for their albums who didn't actually make the release, even though they were great players.
Right. So Dean Parks in that documentary, Dean Parks played a bunch of cool saucy solos, guitarist. He said we would go in and we would play the songs they had set up for that day, and then the next day it was a whole nother set of guys, a whole nother band that would come in and do it. And so, and there were times where they would, the particular band on the particular day, this cost a lot of money, and it drove the studio fucking nuts. At one point, anyway, I won't go into that, but they could do like a whole session of, let's pick like one song, off of like Katy Live, and they could do the whole song, but they liked the drummer from another session, and they would piece in the other drummer for the record. They would do that regularly. They did it with the guitarists. They did it with drummers. And then it just became legendary. I beg you to just go listen to my favorite album right now is the Royal Scam. The Royal Scam. So Pete, I'm gonna read lyrics. This song grabbed me earlier in the week, and I made some notes. And so the lyrics are so bizarre. There's a community online that it's called the Daily Dan Interpretation is the name of the string. Daily
Dan as in Steely Dan.
Yeah. Daily Dan Interpretation up here. So the lyrics, here's the lyrics. And the song is called Sign In Stranger. Sign In Stranger. You have no idea what that means. And nor do we, so I'll try not to read too much, but the lyrics, I've heard the song like 3 times in the last 2 days, and then you go, you can't possibly even know what they're fucking talking about. But anyway, have you heard about the boom on Mizar 5? And nobody knows what Mizar 5 is. Mizar 5. Have you heard about the boom on Mizar 5? And then it starts to get like stuff you recognize. People got to shout to stay alive. They don't even have policeman 1. Doesn't matter where you've been or what you've done. Do you have it? It's all piano. It's Fagan on piano. Do you have a dark spot on your past? Do you have a dark spot on your past? Leave it to my man. He'll fix it fast. Pepe has a scar from ear to ear. He will make your mug shots disappear. So people like just that first verse. People are like, we have no fucking idea what they're talking about. To this day. But it's fantastic. And you got to hear the song. Listen to the Royal Scam album, The Royal Scam. I've been binging it for a day and a half between the church music. Pete, talk, please.
Anyway.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that song. Yep. So, yeah. Well, I made a little list, like you said earlier. That the guitarist on there was Elliot Randall. As far as I know, it's the only song that was released by Steely Dan that he played lead guitar on. I'm going over to my list here that I made earlier because I listened to and watched the credits of every song on the first 3 albums.
Wow.
And so here we go. I'm pulling that note. Oh, come on. There it is. All right. So
We love the band. We fucking love this band. And
Do It Again. Electric guitar solo was played by Denny Dios. This Denny Dios had this band, like you said, that they basically hijacked his band. But they were phenomenal writers.
Phenomenal writer.
Fagan and Becker. And Fagan sings, I believe, lead vocals on every single song they do. I could be wrong on that.
He does. Except the first album.
Okay. So then Reelin' in the Years was Elliot Randall. Played the lead guitar on that. Then there's this Fire in the Hole the guitar was played by Fire in the Hole in Brooklyn. Both those songs had Skunk Baxter on pedal steel guitar.
Wow.
And there's a bunch of other songs he played on multiple albums. He played pedal steel. I wasn't aware of that.
So Pete.
So that's the first album. Yeah, go ahead.
I had no idea they had any pedal steel on any of their songs. So this is
they do. Yeah, I heard it when I was listening, and then I'm like, but also, yeah.
That'll drive me crazy. Listen for that.
Oh, you'll hear it. It's not hard. If you're listening for it, it's not hard to hear. I mean, you got to know what one sounds. You might just think it's a slide guitar, but it's not.
Right.
It sounds a little different. It's got a little country sound to it. Because you're not only using a slide type thing, but you're using pedals that are kind of like whammy bars that change the strings a specific amount of pitch.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now then Countdown to Ecstasy, their second album.
That was the most obscure album they did. That's the one that we know least about
okay, maybe, but it had, I mean, again, I remember these hits being out when I lived in Virginia. Bodhisattva, then that would have been I moved from Virginia in 76. So that would have been Bodhisattva, and My Old School.
My Old School.
And My Old School talks about a school, being in Annandale, and I lived in Annandale, Virginia. Of course, we all thought it was about Annandale High School, Annandale, Virginia. but it turns out I looked it up.
Very cool.
Yeah, and on one of my YouTube channels, I've got my old school play in the background, and I still have this little license plate that
Great.
says Annandale Boys Club 1972, and I have that I have that up on the wall with this
That's
song
great.
playing in the background in one of my little posts. But anyway,
That's a great
So-
song.
yeah, and so those were big hits off that album, and
Right.
so Bodhisattva, Skunk Baxter played the lead guitar solos on that. I mean, Denny played guitar, but he didn't play lead guitar on that song.
Right.
And he also played lead guitar on a song called Boston Rag. All right. And he played it on My Old School. And then I want to make that's all I had to say on that album regarding guitar players. But there's a song called
Go to the next album.
Well, there's a song called King of the World, which I think is the last song on Countdown to Ecstasy. And I love the drums, and there's a guy named Jim Hodder playing drums on there. I don't know if I pronounced it right, but Hodder. Have you ever heard of him?
Pete, we're getting pretty obscure. Jump to the
Okay.
next one.
All right.
People
All right.
recognize it.
All right, so the next album was Pretzel Logic.
Pretzel Logic.
And I didn't get all the way through that one actually.
Hey, Pete, that would be like the Beatles' Help record. It's like right in the mid range where they were really kicking into gear. But go ahead. And I have to. I have to step to the boys' room while you talk. Keep talking to people.
Okay.
Don't leave.
Well, I'm gonna go off my notes page so they can see me again. Plus, I ran out of notes anyway.
Gotcha. Keep talking.
All right. So, so that song there, the Pretzel Logic album, the big hit off there did have a solo by Skunk Baxter, but so Walter Becker, the writing partner, the writing duo of Steely Dan, as we mentioned, is Donald Fagen, keyboards and vocals, Walter Becker, bass, and sundry other instruments. And as their career went on, he played more and more guitar. And he played his first lead guitar on the fourth album, I believe. And there's a song that was an old jazz song that they remade by the Count Basie Band. And so this song by the Count Basie Band, like St. Louis something and O-All-E or something is called. I never heard it, but the cool thing about it is,
hey, it's St. Louis. Toodaloo. It's
okay. What's the full name of it again? Say it again.
St. Louis Toodaloo.
St. Louis Toodaloo, which was a hit by the Count Basie Band.
Wow.
And this is the first song of all the songs they recorded. This is the first song that that Walter Becker played lead guitar on, and he used a wah-wah pedal because he's trying to sound like the trumpets and the trombones that use the mute. You know, wah, 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 the sound, right?
He pulls it off.
Yeah, and I mean, he doesn't do their solos note for note. He does his own solo, but it's in the same style, the same vein.
Yeah,
you know, and it's really cool. It's really cool. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'd never heard that track before myself.
Wow.
You know, back in the old days, they'd have 1 to 3 hits off an album, and on the rest of the stuff would never make airplay, and it was often obscure and whatnot. And you know, and so this is one of those tunes that probably rarely, if ever, made the radio.
Right. No, they did not. Those type of songs, maybe in Los Angeles or New York City, they might, but yeah, not in Florida. The obscure songs that weren't big hits. Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I wanted to. Man, here it is. So let's jump to the chase with the album Asia.
Yeah.
And if Gina and Mike are still on, I want to repeat that story. So I took Zach to his first concert. And Gina may have taken him to a concert before '93, but I took him to the first concert with me in '93, and it was Steely Dan. After 20 years of not touring, they decided we're going to tour, and we went. It was fantastic, and of course, it was a big inspiration to Zach. And we'd been listening to their music prior to that. But on the album Asia, which is their pinnacle record, so the Steely Dan's pinnacle record is Asia. And I'll show the cover here in a second, because it's just really cool and obscure. But the first song is called Black Cow. And so Zach and I had this history with the band and listening to the Steely Dan. So he was really schooled on Steely Dan. At the time, really, what was happening is I was trying to learn how to play drums. And my friend Park from Orlando, my mentor, said, just put on headphones and practice the Steely Dan records. That's exactly what I did. So that's what turned me on to Steely Dan back then. And then we're talking 92, 93, 94. And Zach was like, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, or St. John. And so anyway, Zach was very familiar with Steely Dan. So we go see the show, and it was great. It was fucking killer. Dennis Chambers was on. Steely Dan, when they play live, they make it a point to have a feature player in the band. Could be the drummer, could be the guitarist, it could be the drummer. Typically drums and guitars. Keith Carlock was the more later drummer. Keith Carlock was the best drummer on the fucking planet, like 8 years ago or 10 years ago. But we saw Dennis Chambers with Steely Dan, and seeing Dennis Chambers alone, I would have paid the ticket price to just see Dennis Chambers play drums, and it was phenomenal. It was so good. Guitars wise, Pete, Wayne Krantz. Park will tell you how great Wayne Krantz is. And Keith Carlock used to play jazz with Wayne Krantz, the guitars. So you got to check that whole New York scene out. That's a whole separate thing. But anyway, we see it. It was phenomenal. So Zach, him and his wife, him and Justine, about 3 or 4 years ago, were in New York City. And the first song on Asia is called Black Cow. And the first lyric on the thing, I've repeated this is probably the third time on this episode, but I didn't know if Gina was listening. The first lyric is, from the corner of my eye, I saw you at Rudy's. You were very high. And Rudy's is a restaurant, a restaurant in New York City. Zach and Justine went and found it and took a picture in front of Rudy's. It was closed at the time they took the picture, but it's super cool. But bottom line, what I'm really getting at, that was just a great story. But let's go to Asia, and then you can see the album cover and stuff. This was their pinnacle fucking record.
Yeah, and Black Cow is, of course, a drink.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. The album cover looked like that. I had the album at some point in time. I don't have it anymore. It's very obscure. It's very elusive. You've got symbology and the Asia spelled AGA.
AJ. That's a J, right?
AJA. Yeah, yeah. AJA. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, so the song lineup is Black Cow is the first song, and which I just talked about. The second song is Asia, then followed by Deacon Blues, then followed by Peg. So there are two giant hits were Peg and Josie, and both of those are on this album, this record. Peg Peg really features Michael McDonald on vocals. It's like insane with the harmony shit over the top. It's incredible.
Right, and it also has the hardest guitar solo I've ever had to perform live or learn at all is that one. I mean, there's a Rush solo I had to learn to teach a student, but I didn't actually perform it. He did. But yeah, this Peg has a super hard, really cool guitar solo.
So Pete, you did a piece on that. So Pete Martin, School of Music. He's a YouTuber and he has videos out. And
Right.
if you want to learn how to play guitar and bass, please check it out. It's incredible. Yeah. It really is. It's instructional is what you do. But
my YouTube channel is called Pete Guitar Martin.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Pete Guitar Martin YouTube. Yeah.
So can you redo that?
Yeah, I mean, I can do some of the intro of the song has these jazz chords, you know. And that's and in the middle of the song, that's about where the guitar solo comes in. And it goes like this. See if I can do it or not. It's pretty hard, but
Pete, that's great. So could go back to the beginning.
yeah.
And repeat the beginning.
So there's other things going on. So the first chord is a G major 9 chord. G major 9 he's it's the middle 4 string, so it's like this. Now the bass is descending.
Wow.
Right? So there's a descending bass, and it's going between these major 9 chords and these 7 sharp 9 chords, which some people call the Jimi Hendrix chord. You know. Right? So but it's like so G major 9, F sharp 7 sharp 9, keeps going down. It's alternating between the two qualities as it descends. And then there's the the horns, Bup bup ba-da-dee-da. Bup bup bup.
Right.
Ba-da-dee-da. Bup bup bup. Ba-da-dee-da. Na-na.
Wow.
I saw your picture. I guess the song is about a model. I think the song is about a model. And then anyway, it's got some cool. This is the verse. Then it does the chorus, Yeah.
Would you say it's very jazzy? The chords.
Oh yeah, the chords are jazzy, so for sure.
Jazzy. Yeah.
So the chorus is like, and Michael McDonald sings this. He's singing harmony, right? I sing that. When I do that with Panama, I sing that part. I do it falsetto,
Do you really? I gotta see this again.
And there's a yeah, it's something else. Those chords, it's like
Yeah.
C major 7, F sharp 7, B minor 7, E7 sharp 9, A minor 7, D7 sus4 with an A in the bass. I mean, these you don't play these songs. You don't play these chords in rock songs most of the time. And then there's the bridge that goes up. And it goes back to the intro, you know. Bop, bop,
Bump.
ba-da-dee-da, bop, bop, bop. Dee-da.
Wow.
That's and this is and then now it's the guitar solo I just played. But those are all the parts of the song.
So redo the cool thing.
The guitar solo?
It's all cool, but yeah.
Yeah. So well, you know, he's got a lot of compression and sustain on his guitar, which makes the notes last longer. I mean, he hits this one note, right? Then he hits this. Now, that probably faded out so you can hear it. But all that stuff he does striking the strings only once. I got to hit him 3 or 4 times because my strings die out. So I do it. So it goes like this. All that, he only, except for the first note, he hits the first note and then he hits the second. That's it. You know, it goes like this. I did it fast so it wouldn't die out. That, you know, that's hard as crap, man. Because you're bending 2 strings. You're bending 2 strings at the same time on different frets, and you got to keep them in tune with each other as you bend them. It's not that's really hard. And you're sliding up and down the neck, you know. That's did you see that? That we will now will that's one pick also, but I can pull that off.
Right.
Yeah, it's badass.
Oh, dude.
Now that was done by a guy named. That solo was done by a guy named Jay Graydon.
Jay
Graydon is a guitarist.
And
he's also a songwriter and he's a producer. And I don't know how much stuff he did off of that. I don't know where that was in his career that he did that. But I've seen videos where he teaches other studio musicians how to play it. Like other famous, like, you know, LA studio musicians. And they're asking him questions, oh, you know, this and that. And look, he doesn't remember exactly how he played it either. He gets it pretty close.
Right.
He gets it pretty close. But his instruction is as good as any out there. And, you know, but anyway.
Yeah.
I put a lot of time into that solo, and I think I got it right. I think I got a couple nuances that he forgot about when he was doing his little video.
Wow. Pete, your guitar playing is extraordinary here because you're any musician. So I can go out on a limb and say this, that any musician that's playing from Park to Marshall to anybody and to Pete, they all checked out Steely Dan and what Steely Dan did instrumentally, and the players they had. They would like I said, they would get entire different bands, they would have 2 or 3 guitarists, easily 3 guitarists on a session, easily 2 drummers on a session. The horn players were probably like the same guys. They probably have a couple of keyboard players on the session, and they would mix and match the best parts of that were recorded, and that's what went on the records. and the band members were all freaked out over that. And this costs a lot of money in the studios. There was a story.
Well, one of the solos that Denny Diaz did, as far as I can tell, he did a lot of rhythm guitar on their songs, but he did this electric sitar solo, and it's really cool. And that was Denny Diaz, original founding member. But I also, listening through these songs, was really impressed again with Jeff Skunk Baxter. I've got a new appreciation for him. I kind of got turned off to him because I saw him do a live performance on TV decades ago, and they were doing Really and In the Years, and Elliot Randall wasn't there, and I was waiting to see that solo, and it didn't happen the way I wanted it to. You know, he did something cool, but it wasn't Elliot Randall's solo. You know what I mean? But then I've listened to the solos that he did that were his original compositions, and they're really masterful with a lot of different techniques and different modes and weird scales and stuff. And he makes it come off sounding really cool and pop. Yeah. Fits the song. Yeah.
I think we've covered Steely Dan successfully. I think we've done it justice.
Yeah.
I appreciate it immensely. Pete, thank you. My
pleasure. I felt
yeah,
prepared to actually discuss this stuff this time.
Right. It's a band and artists that we are very in tune with and comfortable with talking about. We live their history for the most part, you know, and that makes a big difference. Generally speaking.
There's frankly a bunch of songs that I'm not that familiar with, and I didn't follow them album by album as they were releasing stuff. Yeah. But there's an awful lot of really good history regarding them and their players online, which I have spent a considerable amount of time watching over the last couple of years. So that helped give us, and Phil also, you know, the various YouTube videos that the artists themselves put out, this documentary that Phil referred to, and also some of the Rick Beato interviews.
Yeah. And one last parting thing. One of the players we haven't mentioned. Actually, there's two players we haven't mentioned. One drummer and one guitarist. We have not mentioned Larry Carlton. So Larry Carlton was immensely important in their last three records, before their big break.
He played on one or two tracks on Asia, and then I assume he had an increasing role after that.
Yes, yeah. Larry Carlton was their guy for a long time once they found him. And Larry Carlton could chart shit out. So Frank Zappa did this, and Steely Dan did this. Like, hey, we don't want to. Donald Fagen didn't want to sit there and chart shit out, like do a horn chart and do a drum chart and do a guitar chart and do the horn. They didn't want to sit there and write all that shit out. Larry Carlton was gifted at that, and Frank Zappa used Steve Vai for that,
right?
And others, but Vai comes to mind. Where Steve Vai was 18 years old. He'll tell you when he joined Zappa's band, he was 18 years old. Hey, I joined to be the guitarist and a guitarist. And Zappa had him just fucking writing charts out, like literally, probably by hand.
That's how he got Zappa's attention to begin with.
Right.
He charted out one of his hard songs or something and sent it to him or something. It was part of the story, if I recall correctly.
And he's like, "Hey, you're in. Come Monday." And Carlton was that guy for Steely Dan. And not that they couldn't do it, but they just like, hey, you hire someone to do it, right? So, legendary band, Steely Dan. So cut to the chase. Walter Becker, one of the two guys from Steely Dan, Fagen and Becker, he passed away. God, it was like, I want to say 5 years ago. I think it was about 5 years ago he passed away. Walter Becker passed away 5 years ago, and Fagan was a fish out of water. He was like, "This is my best friend from like fucking school days.
Yeah. Wow.
How am I going to carry on? Will Steely Dan go on? And Rush had that same thing. Zeppelin had that same thing. Zeppelin chose not to go on, and rightfully so. Rush took 5 years off, and then they're on tour now and doing
You-
incredible.
You,
But,
you know what this? You know what Geddy Lee says the clincher was? Paul McCartney said,
Wow.
"You have to go out and play, man." Paul McCartney, bassist Paul McCartney, told bassist Geddy Lee that he needed to get the band together and do these shows.
Right.
And of course, the Beatles never got back together, but that was part of what made it even more meaningful, that advice coming from him. We didn't do it. You guys need to do it.
Poetic justice kind of thing. Yeah. Like freaky. Yeah. Yeah. So Fagan took, just like they all do, they take years off. So Fagan took several years off, 3 or 4 years off, could have been 5. I haven't followed it closely. And he started touring again as Steely Dan without Walter Becker. So Steely Dan is alive and well and playing live without Walter Becker.
Are you able to check the comments? Because I can't see them. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I've had it full screen for like an hour or a half hour, so I haven't seen them. But but we've had 5 listeners. Thank you guys, whoever's there. I can't believe it.
Does anybody know? And the reason I asked that is because I asked this question. Does anybody know what Paul McCartney's most recent recording project was?
Well, I can tell you that he just released a brand new record that I don't know what the name of it is or what it is. I've heard the beginning of the first song because I saw a reel on it. So he just released a brand new record, but other than that, I don't know what he's done.
I don't know. Maybe that's come out since. I'm not sure. But the Rolling Stones asked him to record bass on at least 3 songs on their most recent album, and they asked him to do things that were out of his comfort zone and things like that. And they said he was so thrilled to finally be playing. Oh, I'm playing with the Stones, man. So Paul McCartney was thrilled to be doing, a few songs on the Rolling Stones album.
I can imagine.
I haven't heard it yet. I gotta hear him playing, because they say, well, one was kind of like a punk rock thing. And we told him what he wanted, and he delivered.
Wow. Yeah, McCartney can. Wow, that's super cool. Paul, with the Beatles, McCartney, and as the others are, you can only imagine what Paul McCartney, it's just like if you invited him in as a session guy to like, hey, give us some bass shit to this song we're trying to develop. My God, you have no idea what that would end up like. It would be so fun. My God, his bass lines, the Beatles. So guys, generally speaking, on the podcast, we kind of call this the end. And then we keep talking about music, and you're welcome to hang out. But generally speaking, it's kind of the episode's over. But we still continue to talk about music because we love it so much. Yeah, McCartney would just like come in and destroy. I would love to see him come in and like just with some heavy band. Paul, give us some ideas. But. My gosh. But bottom line, Paul McCartney's bass playing, and Jeff Matter, so we have I have a dear set of friends from Kissimmee early days. Jeff, Eric, Bill St. Clair, Jimmy Latta, and I'm forgetting the fourth one there. Sorry, but Jeff said Paul's like back. We were like in there were 10th grade, 11th grade. Jeff's like Paul's the shit on bass. And
Yeah, he really is. I
Yeah.
mean, have you ever heard listen to the bass part on, now this song was written by George Harrison, but but the bass part was written by Paul McCartney, something in the way she moves.
Mm.
I mean, the bass in there is amazing. And he plays so many different styles.
Right.
He plays so many different styles, and he's pretty active, but he doesn't sound like a quote unquote lead bass player. Whatever he's playing is appropriate for the song, and it sounds great and it grooves and it doesn't distract from the lyrics. But it's really active bass playing, and some of it is traditional sounding to some degree. But yeah, he's a very creative, effective bassist.
Pete, I'm gonna
Yes.
I'm gonna stretch it a little bit here. Can
Yep.
you, with your upper string, the top two strings, bum bum bum? Can you do the?
Well,
can
you know what?
duplicate the?
I
note?
transcribed the bass part to something years ago, and I taught it to a student, and I've never played it since. I can play the guitar part, but I don't know the bass part.
But just do the bass part.
I mean, you start.
It's an experiment. Ah.
Something
Oh, nice.
Tracks like no other.
Nice.
Something I don't now.
Wow.
Now, and our band did the whole thing with two guitars, bass, drums, harmony vocals, and a keyboard player. And we pulled that song off. We did it really fantastic justice. I mean, the bridge is really, really tremendous vocally and instrumentally. And I don't want to do the bridge right now because I'm out of practice with both the guitar and the vocal parts. But yeah, I mean, that was one of my.
I could do the drums with Ringo.
Yeah.
Me what my right, it's the Ringo. Just going off with the triplets. But don't do it now. Let's do something we're familiar with. Play something heavy.
From what?
Something heavy like Nirvana or any heavy licks. You got any heavy licks?
See,
I'm into heavy shit lately.
You mentioned Nirvana. Of course, the one that comes to mind is this one. Oh man, I'm not getting the right tone out of this.
That's all right. Adjust.
Oh,
So this is the after party. This is wow. We have to play more. My chops are up. So
there's a song I like that you might not know. It's called "It Don't Matter" by Ted Nugent.
Wow.
It doesn't matter if you don't treat me right. Doesn't matter if you don't sleep at night. Doesn't matter if you go your way. Oh no, right.
Oh man, that's awesome. Me and Eric back in sophomore year in high school, junior year in high school, we were the biggest Ted Nugent fans in Kissimmee.
My two favorite songs by him, that's one of them. The other one is Tight Spots. Didn't get much airplay. And Tight Spots you really couldn't do because especially in these days and age, this day and age, because of the subject matter. You know, it's kind of like that song by ZZ Top called Francine. Francine, teenage beauty queen. She's like, I didn't want to say how young she is in the song, but you don't hear that on the radio.
Can you do some Francine?
I don't know. I don't know Francine, but I like the song. It's really cool, but I've never taken the time to learn it. But I can do some of Tight Spots.
Can you do any ZZ Top for it?
This is the bass. Starts out with drums and bass. Goes.
Any ZZ.
This is the bass guitar. And then the electric guitar does something like this. Yeah.
Hey,
do you know that song? Tight Spots, wearing me out.
It's too obscure.
Yeah.
Can
But
you?
to me, it's his coolest song. And it's got like 3 or 4 different guitar parts, plus a bass part, plus a drum part. It's very well produced. They all fit together really, really cool. And it's, I love it. I think it's his best song, but what do I know?
So I'm going to ask ZZ Top. Can you give us some ZZ Top that you know?
Well, my band did Cheap Sunglasses in high school, and I used to know it fairly well. But although there were a couple parts I never figured out exactly right, but I might be able to play a little bit of that.
I used to
Something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really don't know that one. I could relearn it. I should probably relearn that. I performed that like 30, 40 years ago or something like that. I should probably relearn it because that's a cool song, Cheap Sunglasses. Then there's this one here. I'm still not happy with my tone because the volume's so loud I'm not getting the tones I want. What is that? It drives all the way up. I'm turning the treble down.
He's got this loud ass amp, but it's not close to the microphone.
You ready?
So got the pride. You got the pride. I'll be right back.
Anyway, I messed that up a little bit because I'm used to. I usually don't play it with a slide, but I thought I'd give it a shot. All right, I guess you went out of the room for a minute. How's it go?
$6. You can't beat it. Tell. Come on,
Didn't have to do you didn't have to lose.
wow, yeah. What a great song. That's a great song.
That's
Didn't
one that I never really learned either. But
you did
here's one I like. Heard it on the X. This is so cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
This one is heard it on the X, and I think that
Oh, man.
Eddie Van Halen must have used it in another song. Let me show you.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what Van Halen song do you think that I think Eddie was influenced the part, what Eddie wrote on this rhythm guitar part for a certain Van Halen song? I think he was kind of copped some of that. What do you think that is?
Hang on. I've got it in my mind. Hot for Teacher.
Correct.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good one, because so Hot for Teacher starts out,
Wow.
that's the part right there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Hey, Pete, we have a request.
Yeah, okay.
Gina and Mike. Gina wanted to hear any AC/DC that you might know.
Oh, okay. All right, here we go.
Wow. Very cool. Great call. Good call. Dude, we gotta do some of these songs. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Hey, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Gina, there is a connection with AC/DC, and when we saw the Firm, the Page and the Firm, the drummer Chris Slade was Jimmy Page's drummer for the Firm for their 2 records and their tours that we saw. We saw the first tour. Chris Slade eventually became the drummer for AC/DC. There's a connection there. It was later on. Chris Slade, he's from England. Beast fucking drummer. He was their drummer.
Well,
When it was like in the 2000s kind of thing. Anyway, so
of course, the Young Brothers, have some really cool guitar stuff. What AC/DC really, really rocks, in my opinion, because of the drums. They have so many cool drum beats. They're not super hard, but they really rock and they really groove, and they're different from each other.
But let's face it, Angus is the Jimmy Page of ACDC.
Well, I used to think that Angus was
Yeah.
good, but not great. Then I tried to transcribe some of his guitar solos, and I'm like, this dude is really doing some really cool shit on the guitar. It's not just your typical pentatonic licks. They're very original licks that he has, and they rock. You know, and then there's just the signature riffs, you know, like the opening to Hell's Bells and stuff, you know, and all that. And that one riff in the middle of this song. It took me a long time to figure that out, and then it took me even longer to be able to play it, and I still screwed it up at the very end. If you notice, I'd made a mistake in the end. But that freaking, you know, I'm going to even do the solo. And I like even the end. It goes like the end solo. The rhythm is doing this. No, I miss it. Now that's not the same. That's not exactly the same thing they're doing during the verses. You know, that's the solo part at the end. So you know, one and so AC/DC, right?
Yeah.
And AC/DC. I saw one, and I don't know the song, but one of the songs off their first album, High Voltage. I think the High Voltage song.
Wow.
They're playing the chords AC/DC.
Oh my gosh! Right, they might have got the.
Now, if I listened, I just heard this the other day, so I haven't figured out. Actually, I never learned that song.
Man.
If I could hear that song in my head, maybe I could make it sound right. But you know,
Right. I had an idea for a second, but I lost.
I'm gonna have to quit pretty soon because this is like, you can't believe how loud this amp is, and I've got people in my house who probably want to go to sleep.
Gotcha. Pete, it's been we're coming up on 2 hours. We do the normal format. We go an hour and a half on the regular podcast, and then we say this is the after hours, and you know the show's over, you can hang out. But I want to plug Turnstile, which Zach is going to come down and see in September with me. But then so Pete, what occurred is what happened was Zach's going to go see a show with his mom and Mike in New York. And I can't remember the name of the band. It's some major fucking band. And so in the month of September, he's going to see a band with his dad and then a band with his mom.
Cool, man. That's great.
Yeah, in 2 different states. That's fucking cool as shit.
Yeah, and it's cool as shit that you know you guys get along and you know and can talk and can hang out on the podcast and all that. And I have a great relationship with my ex-wife too. She's a good friend of mine.
Fran.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
But you know, I mean, that's all it is, and that's all I want it to be. But anyway, but she's a good friend of mine. You know, it's and you know, if it wasn't for the kid, I wouldn't be speaking to her anymore. But over the years, you know, in trying to do the right thing by our son over the years, I've gotten to know her better than I ever did when we were married.
Right. Over the decades, over the decades.
And being friends long distance over the phone and whatnot is a lot easier than it is to cohabitate.
At times, that is true. That is for sure. Right. We have the experience of decades. But anyway, folks, that's it. We're gonna end this. Thank you for hanging out. We got 5. I haven't had 5 viewers on for like a while. For like the duration.
Yeah, well, maybe it's the Friday night thing. That's cool.
Yeah, Friday somehow worked out good. Kim, thank you from Sanford.
Yeah. And Rick, if you're still there, thanks you for coming to join Phil's podcast.
I think
guess
Kim should jump in the car and come over to Cocoa Beach to see live music because
well, that'd be nice to meet her.
Kim is super cool, but others. You were saying something to somebody. Who was it?
Rick, my guitar studio was on earlier. I don't know if he's still on.
Oh, right.
I was just thanking him for coming out.
The one I didn't
watching
thank
us.
you, Rick. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anytime anybody's checking it out is super cool. So Pete, check this out. What do you think of this? Here's a novel idea. I love the company Busy Bees. Busy Bees. It's a thing like shit. What's the other one called? The big one. When you're on the interstate driving, Buc-ee's, like Buc-ee's.
Oh, right. Yes.
So it's like a Buc-ee's, but it's about the 10th of a size of Buc-ee's, and they have like many stores along I-10, and then going I-75 up to Georgia, and then west, going west on I-10. Pete, I'm gonna call them and say, I want you guys to sponsor me because I've already turned you on to 4 people that have stopped at your store. And I love that store. I fucking love Busy Bees. I love Busy Bees. And so and then at that point I would have to monetize, what they call monetize. And do that part of the thing. But I'm gonna go for it.
Cool. Yeah.
See what the future lies here. Peter, Pete, your guitar playing is exceptional. My drum playing last night at church, and for the rehearsal, they basically dug the shit out of it. They thought it was
that's
awesome.
nice.
Yeah.
Great.
My chops are up because I'm playing over at St. Cloud regularly. So. All right, dude.
Are you jamming there like once a week or something in St. Cloud now?
Sundays, yes. You will come over one day. You will.
Yeah.
You got to experience this. It's so cool. But right now, we'll give it a week or 2 or 3, but you got to come over, and you'll blow Eric's mind. You'll totally blow Eric's mind. You'll go, wow, I had no idea. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. But my chops are up because of that, because I go every Sunday. So cool, brother.
Okay, well, great. Well, it's been a lot of fun. So thanks for having me on as a guest, and thanks to Will for letting me have a open spot to come in. And I guess it was kind of just serendipitous because that wasn't planned that way, but technical difficulties Tuesday resulted in this episode. So it was a lot of fun.
Cool. Very cool. All right, let me figure out. I have to hit escape.
Okay, well, maybe I'll give you a call if you're serious about going out. But I'm going to sign off the podcast now. Okay.
Gotcha. I'm going to Cocoa Beach. Just so you know.
All right. Cool.
All right, brother.
All right.
Brother,